Right now, above you, there is a city. Streets, traffic, strangers brushing past each other, cold air, noise. The ordinary surface world you know. The one you navigate every day without thinking about it. And directly beneath it, there is another one. Not ruins, not tunnels, not maintenance corridors. A fully functioning city. Shops, restaurants, pharmacies, banks, art galleries, metro stations, hotels. 33 kilometers of underground streets connecting it all. On the coldest days of winter, thousands of people in Montreal wake up, go to work, eat lunch, buy groceries, visit friends, and return home without ever once stepping outside. They live entire days underground, and most people who have never been there have never heard it exists. It did not start as a plan. It started with one building and one tunnel in 1962. The Place Ville-Marie, a new office complex in downtown Montreal, was connected by a short underground passage to the train station next door. Simple, practical, a way to avoid the cold between two buildings. Then someone built a mall underground, then another passage, then a hotel connected itself, then a university, then a cinema, then a hospital. Nobody designed the whole thing. Nobody sat down with a blueprint and said, "We are going to build a second city beneath this one." It grew the way cities always grow. One decision at a time, one connection at a time. Over 60 years, those connections became a network. And the network became something that has no real name in any language because nothing like it had ever existed before. The official name is the Réseau, but nobody who lives in Montreal calls it that. They just call it underground, as if the whole thing is too obvious to need a name. Here's what is actually down there. 33 kilometers of pedestrian walkways, 10 hotels, 2 universities, 2 major department stores, 1,700 businesses, 200 restaurants, 40 office towers connected from below, 12 metro stations, a concert hall, a cathedral, a casino, a bus terminal. On any given weekday, approximately 500,000 people move through it. That number is worth sitting with. 500,000 people a day in a city most of the world has never thought about. Moving through a second city most of the world does not know exists, and it is entirely invisible from the street above. Walk through downtown Montreal on a February morning, and the streets are quiet, emptier than a city this size should be. You see the buildings. You see the occasional person moving quickly between doorways, collar up, breath visible in the cold. What you do not see is where everyone actually is. They are below you, moving through lit corridors, stopping for coffee, taking the metro 3 stops, emerging on the other side of downtown without having felt the temperature once. The surface city is a shell. The real movement is underground. This is what minus 30 degrees Celsius does to a city over 60 years. It forces an entirely parallel world into existence. Montreal is not alone, but it is the largest. Tokyo has an underground network beneath its station districts. Toronto built its own version called The Path, covering 30 kilometers under the financial district. Houston has a tunnel system connecting downtown buildings that most residents have never used. Osaka, Helsinki, Beijing, all of them have some version of this. Cities building downward because building outward became too complicated, too cold, too expensive. But none of them have what Montreal has. What Montreal has is not a network of tunnels. It is a neighborhood. It has its own geography, its own landmarks, its own logic. People who work downtown know it the way you know a neighborhood you grew up in. They have shortcuts. They have favorite routes. They have places underground they go to specifically, not just passages they move through to get somewhere else. It is a city that grew beneath a city without anyone deciding that was what they were building. There is something quietly strange about that. Every city on the surface was planned to some degree. Streets were laid out. Districts were zoned. Somebody decided where the roads went and where the buildings would stand. The surface world is designed, even when the design is imperfect. The underground city was not. It emerged, connection by connection, decade by decade, driven entirely by the practical problem of winter and the human instinct to keep moving, keep trading, keep existing, regardless of what the weather decided to do. And now it is so large, so embedded, so woven into the daily life of the people who use it that removing it would be like removing the street grid above. It is infrastructure now. It is permanent. It is as real as anything on the surface. But here's the part that stays with you. Montreal is not unique because it built underground. Humans have always built underground: mines, catacombs, bunkers, basements. We have always been drawn downward. What is unique about Montreal is that the underground became ordinary. Nobody who takes the metro to work and stops for a coffee in an underground food court and picks up medication from an underground pharmacy thinks of themselves as doing something remarkable. It is just Tuesday. It is just winter. It is just the way the city works. The extraordinary thing became invisible the moment it became routine. And that is how it always goes. The things that would have astonished any previous generation of humans, the things that would have seemed like science fiction, like magic, like impossible infrastructure, become the background of daily life so quickly that we stop seeing them entirely. You are probably doing it right now, moving through systems so complex, so vast, so improbable that they should feel miraculous, and feeling nothing at all. Montreal just made it literal. It built the invisible city, the one that runs beneath the one you can see, the 500,000 people move through every day without once thinking about how strange it is that it exists. And somewhere beneath the cold streets, right now, someone is having lunch underground in a city beneath a city and thinking about absolutely nothing except what they want to order. That is how permanent the impossible becomes. That is how quickly the extraordinary disappears.